Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic That's Known Classic. This is episode number 1561, Doubleshot number 1455. This is the first of two in a row. Now, these two trades here are both trades of Jeff Lemire, and here's the thing. It's not from Marvel, and it's not from DC. The first one's from Dark Horse. Yes. Now, I have discussed Jeff Lemire's time at Dark Horse via the Black Hammer series. This series here, nothing to do with that. It's just another series he worked on Dark Horse. And in the case, the other one, it was from Image. Now, he's working on a few different Image series. Image is not a company he normally works at, per se. He has not a lot of it. Aside from this series, the only series I have read that he's written was A&D, After Death. He did that with Scott Snyder. Just a 3-issue maxi series, and that was it. Now, this first one is Berserker Unleashed. Yeah, a 5-issue series. Yes, 5 issues. Though in the book, but this trade is referred to as Berserker Unbound Volume 1. That's what it's referred to as. Now, yeah, there it is right there. Extras 4, instead of 5, excuse me. Yeah, you can see right there on the page, it's credited as Berserker Unbound Volume 1. Now, you have Jeff Lemire on the writing and Mike Didot Jr. artwork. I love this guy's artwork. And I figured, and when this book was coming out, I figured, though, I'll check it out because I like Jeff Lemire and I like Mike Didot Jr. I love this guy's artwork. So, I check it out. The way the series is written, it's almost like this was planned to be a Conan the Barbarian series. But because Dark Horse lost the license to publish Conan, I think it was a few years ago, it's like they had to change their plan. It's like Jeff Lee was hoping to do Conan at Dark Horse, but because Conan's at Marvel, they decided to do this instead. Now, the premise of this series is quite unique. Berserker, that's what the guy is called. The guy, that's basically what he is. He has no name, despite like appearance-wise, people could almost easily mistake him for Conan the Barbarian. As you can see, he's in the middle of a city. What city is that? That's New York. Yeah, it's explained he got there via magic teleportation. Yeah, this is all something that apparently Lemire ripped off from Red Sonja. Yeah, Red Sonja did this a couple years ago where she had present day for a couple years before eventually went back to the present. Now, I thought, and I still think, that was a very original idea for Red Sonja. I mean, yes. Stuff in her own book, she's never done that before. The only time she ever went to present day was in a one-off issue for Marvel, a miniseries, the Red Sonja miniseries, and an issue of Marvel Team Up. That was due to a jewel that was brought her to the present. This was just a magic portal that brought him to the present, and he cannot speak the language, so this is very similar to Red Sonja. He can't speak the language, and he just runs to another guy. Yes, runs to another guy. And you might be asking, Nick, is there any women in this series? Not really, per se. There's a woman killed in flashback, but that's it. It's mostly all guys series. He runs to a guy who's homeless. Of course, he sees the homeless section, some overlord doing this. No, it's just how things are in New York. And he just hangs out there, and of course, they bond over having beans, and he describes the food as crap, which probably because it's raw. And I'm sure the homeless guy probably agrees his food's crap. But over the course of his 4 issues, he bonds with this guy who apparently lost his family sometime prior to this. And then, I think it was in the final issue, people he was fighting at the start of the series end up in present day. He fights them, and then the other guy who's his buddy, they call each other buddy. So, he decides to follow him because he's got nothing left in the present. Nothing. And he takes a photo with him. And he ends up in Berserker's time. Though eventually, not long after getting there, he decides to burn the picture. I'm not really sure why he would do that for. I thought that was kind of dumb. And then you have the series end with them right at the sunset, and that's it. I kind of thought there was going to be more issues for this because this actually was pretty good. I thoroughly enjoyed reading this. Just really good series. Give this one a 9.5 out of 10. Just damn good. Next up is a series that believe it or not, actually ended after being around for a little over a year, and this is Royal City. Though this trade collects the entire series. I thought initially the series was going to be longer than it initially was. This series was only 13 issues. And you're thinking, 13 issues? Actually, more like 14. Really? Yeah, and here's something interesting though about this. Jeff Lemire himself not only writes this series, he also draws it as well. And as in the cover, yeah, that's Jeff Lemire's art style. Because, excuse me, the thing with Jeff Lemire is a lot of people associate him with being a writer. This is one of the 2 books I have read where he actually has done the artwork for. The other, of course, was A&D with Scott Snyder, which he co-wrote that with him. This is all about basically one city called the Royal City. It's about a series of various characters and the deal with romance. And in case you might be curious, though, is there any like violence in this series? Very minor at best. I mean, the thing that's really good about the series is the character stuff. And you have 2 people get hooked up. And it turns out that the woman who ended up in this, I think it was like this hotel with this guy, by with these 2 older people. And then, of course, she gets a phone call saying, "Hi, Mrs. Pike. Your husband's out of his coma and he'd like to speak to you." And this is just after she finished being with the guy. Though one thing I did not like about this series is that it's implied these characters are having sex. But apparently they don't take anything off. Like, really, Lemire? That's my only gripe with the series, is the fact that you depict sex, but yet nobody's losing any clothing. Because that's generally what a lot of people expect. I mean, the only time I've seen this happen was an episode of Supergirl, which, like, oh, 2 women make out, they take off their jackets, and they call it a day. What's the matter? They can't have these 2, like, imply the fact they're naked. Nope, they still got their clothing on. And this book is kind of the same thing. Of course, also as a guy trying to become a writer, people leave the course of this series. It's a very self-contained book, and I don't think that probably Lemire will probably revisit this. It's a terrible series? No. No, it isn't. It's only 14 issues, and this complete collection, I was surprised the fact my local library had this thing, given the fact this complete collection is $45. Yeah, if you find this thing, it's only $45. There is actual trade series of this. Yeah, there are 3 trades. Now, you have 2 choices if you want to get the series in trade. You can get the 3 individual volumes, or you get this. Yep. Excuse me. Now, the main character series is Patrick Pike. That's him right here. We also focus on his mom in this series. That's Mrs. Pike. And like various other characters. He does get sort of a love interest in here. Get a chance to make out with her. One thing I did not like about the artwork in here. Now, I don't mind how the characters are drawn. That's not the issue. That's Lemire's style. I'm not going to criticize him for that. What I don't like, though, is... And this apparently does pop up in the book. Like, we have handwritten letters, which don't have really... I have no issue with that. That's not the issue here. It's making artwork over this stuff. I've seen one artist who did this, and that was an artist for Robin, and I did not like that at all. I mean, if you're going to do artwork, fine. Do it on a blank piece of paper. Don't do it over frickin' graph paper. Yeah. That was one thing I just simply didn't like about this at all. You have to depict, oh, let's have the artwork drawn over the actual, like, paper, notebook paper, which that is, like, if you want to say the lines, fine. I mean, okay, this is fine. I don't have a problem with this. It's just basically hand-drawn over notes. But do this, like, one at a time really makes no sense at all. But this is a good series, and I do recommend it. I'm going to give the book a 9 out of 10. Yep. So, yeah, that's it for Sick of You. Next one, I'll be wrapping up one trade series and going through an article on Batman. Okay? Next video. Bye.